Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow keeping score beyond the boardroom, beyond the scoreboard. Everything that you want to know about the trillion-dollar business of sports, and it's a very interesting ceremony, celebration we have today. It's all about the business of South Florida baseball, the business of baseball in Palm Beach County, the economics of it. We have an incredible panel here today, and we'll introduce them in just a few minutes as well. As a part of and a prelude to the Palm Beach Sports Commission's annual Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Fame dinner, we hope to make this a regular branded opportunity. And today, we're talking about baseball. The interesting dynamic as well is today also happen to be the last games for the 4 spring training teams in Palm Beach County as they head north and as they start a season that's opening 1 week early this year, except it's 88 degrees today as we speak or so. So we still have a very interesting opportunity. Before we get into the panel discussion, let's get into a little bit of history, South Florida baseball. And I know I'm dating myself, but here is the Miami Marlins. It's not the current Florida Miami Marlins. This is the Miami Marlins Florida State Baseball League 1965 program. By the way, it was 10 cents. The box seat cost $1.50. I was just reminded by the president of minor league baseball that Rod Carew is on this roster, the Orlando roster, affiliated with the Minnesota Twins. He did a pretty good job, by the way, at the end of this deal. And when you think about it, baseball has come a long way from those days. Cal Ripken and his dad played here. His dad coached here in the mid-'60s. That was really very important. His dad talked about don't just practice, but practice right. He uttered those words at Miami Stadium in South Florida 50-plus years ago. It was really important. Fast forward ahead to 1980, and Joe Robbie wanted to create a new baseball stadium for what could be an expansion franchise. Was lucky enough and honored enough to be part of that South Florida and Miami-Dade sports.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the Sports Professor.
How's that kitchen remodel coming along?
I haven't found a reliable contractor and have no idea where to start.
What about Home Advisor?
Home what?
Home Advisor. They match you to pre-screened and top-rated pros for any kind of home project. You can even check pricing and book appointments online.
What's the catch?
No catch. Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Really? I'll check it out.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. If you're one of the millions of Americans who can't work because of a serious injury or illness, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. It doesn't matter if you've applied before and the government has said no. Let the experienced attorneys at Bill Gordon and Associates help you get the Social Security disability you deserve. Their team of attorneys have been fighting for benefits for people just like you for over 20 years. And best of all, they're there's no fee until you receive your benefits. There are many conditions that make you eligible, including some you may not even be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call Bill Gordon and Associates today for your free, no-obligation consultation. See if you qualify for the Social Security benefits you need and deserve. 800-443-4996. 800-443-4996. That's 800-443-4996.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. I'm feeling stronger with a lot more energy and drive. You want to get back into shape? Get Nugenics. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Frank's right. Just text LIKE to 42424 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenic samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text LIKE to 42424. That's LIKE to 42424.
Allergy sufferers, my name's Nigel. As a wise and educated owl, I know the difference between what's wise and unwise. Suffering needlessly with allergy symptoms, unwise. Getting a free 10-day sample of Zysol, quite wise. Zysol is the allergy medicine that's just as effective at hour 24 as at hour 1, which makes getting a free 10-day sample one of the wisest things you can do. So don't be unwise. Be wise all and visit Zysol.com for your free sample today. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Steve Salem, President Cal Ripken Senior Foundation. You've been with the organization since March of 2006. You took the organization from $1 million annual budget to more than $30 million this year, which is incredible. The Badges for Baseball program and National Youth Development Park Initiative you'll talk about. But you also served as Vice President of Government Relations for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, raising more than $500 million for local clubs across the country in at-risk communities, including the Adam Walsh Child Safety and Protection Act of 2006. The Amber Alert program are a couple of initiatives that you're directly involved in. I can't think of anything that's more important or anybody more important than Steve Salem. So thank you for being here. It's one of the few compliments I'll ever bestow on you.
It's the only.
Sincerely. Cut. I'm tired of it. I can't get away with it. I can't feel it. Steve, thank you very much for coming down here. And give us your perspective on what it's like to run the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation.
Well, first of all, I want to reiterate what Pat just said. You know, I agree with you so much, Pat, when you said we're just stewards. I'm in the same position. My job is, and anyone in my field, my job is to leave things better than when I took it over. That's it. And if you don't lose sight of the fact that it's not about you, it's about making it better for whoever comes in after you, you stay on the right track. But working with Cal and Bill Ripken, of course, is an incredible privilege. Vi Ripken, their mom, is a wonderful woman. Cal Sr., who I had the real pleasure of knowing before he passed away, was a wonderful guy. And we're doing wonderful things for his legacy. Really, it's about Cal Sr.'s legacy, not about Junior, not about Bill, but about Cal Sr.
But it's also your ability to take Cal and Billy and Senior and the brand and monetize it.
Right.
And that can't be that easy. So give us kind of secrets to your success.
Well, it's not secrets to my success. Number one, I've had some incredible mentors who have taught me what their secrets were, and I've tried to use them and maybe make them a little bit better. But what I have tried to do is take, we're so unique because we have this brand, really, which is Cal, and his Iron Man legacy that he's given all of us, and all the things that he stands for, like hard work, showing up every day, no matter what, family values. It's not so much about his great success on the baseball field as it is what he's done off the baseball field. And that's what, we try and carry forward, and it makes us unique. And so when we do try and monetize it, and I hate to use those words because it's not about money, it's about generating resources so we can help the kids. But at the end of the day, it's monetizing it. We don't focus on baseball. We focus on making our country a better place for these kids. And when we do that, the economic impact, you talk about economic impact of sports, I wouldn't begin to know how to measure it, but we're keeping kids not just out of prison, but alive in the worst neighborhoods in America. We're helping them get through, not just stay in school, but get through school and go to college. In the process, they're becoming baseball fans. And, as Pat can tell you way better than I can, professional baseball has an initiative about getting minorities back in the game, watching the game, playing the game. Major League Baseball has an initiative where you go out, throw a ball with your dad. Well, these kids don't have a dad. So how do you do that? Yeah. Well, you find someone to do it with them. They become baseball fans. They get jobs. Maybe some of these kids have tremendous athletic ability. And every once in a while, we find one that needs to, our program is, we use baseball as a hook to get kids doing something positive. If we can get them onto this field and play a little baseball, then they're not going over here and getting arrested, joining a gang, getting killed. It's not about having baseball talent. They hold the bat like this. If they throw a ball with the right hand, they instinctively think the mitt goes on their right hand. So these are not baseball players. But every once in a while you find an athlete that, your eyes pop out of your head. And we try and give them opportunities to pursue sports as well.
I, of course, was tremendously impressed with Cal's vision and business acumen before we did our interview last September for Power of Sports. But then to see him at the opening of the Eddie Murray Field in Baltimore and the passion that he puts together as all in. It's not just his name. So talk about what it's like working with him on implementing this.
So let me start by saying we have it's really a national initiative now where we call it our National Youth Development Park Initiative. And we're going into some of the toughest neighborhoods in America, across the country. We've built, in 2019, we'll hit number 100. We're building incredible synthetic turf, state-of-the-art parks in the worst neighborhoods in America. So Eddie Murray Field is in West Baltimore, exactly where the rioting started in Baltimore, and the city almost burned down, and some neighborhoods did. And here in this drug-torn neighborhood, we were able to find a group called the James Mosher Little League, which is the oldest African-American Little League in America, which nobody really knew about. We certainly didn't. Before we go in and make an investment, these parks cost $1 million to $2 million a piece. And as I said, we're closing in on number 100 now, so it's a huge investment. Before we do that, we find a local partner who owns the park. They own the field. We don't. We give it to them. And the James Mosher Little League is this group of primarily African-American men, grandfathers, who live in this neighborhood. The field is attached to an elementary school, so there's always eyeballs on it because of the school and because of the Mosher Little League coaches who live in the community. And these guys work with the kids from this neighborhood. These are the kids who, in 2 years, will be at the high school where the rioting started, Frederick Douglass High School. And so the impact there, if we were to drive there now, field is surrounded by drug dealers every single day, the streets around the field. But there's not a scratch on the field. There's no graffiti, nothing. It's really amazing. And we did name it after Eddie Murray, in honor of Eddie. He's beloved in Baltimore, and he's a wonderful guy. But you're right when you said about Cal and how invested he is in this. He's all in. There's nobody who cares more about these kids that I've ever met than Cal. He doesn't always realize the impact he has on communities because, Cal retired in 2001. These kids are 12 years old. They don't really know who Cal is. They've never seen him play. But you would never know that. When we go, it doesn't matter what neighborhood we go into with Cal, the entire neighborhood comes out. You saw that.
Yeah.
And you also saw when we were there the people surrounding the field.
Yeah, and this is hallowed ground.
Yeah.
It's hallowed ground, which is really interesting. Segue to South Florida a bit, hallowed ground as well. When we did a filming, I got in front of the Miami Stadium sign. Unfortunately, it was the Miami Stadium market because there was no Miami Stadium sign anymore. It was painted the old Marlins colors, which is interesting. Cal's a hero, Cal Sr., as I said earlier, continues his managerial career in South Florida, in Miami, in the late 60s, and Cal plays here. Cal goes from third to short, I think it was, and This was a seminal moment. The Marlins were credited for kind of doing that. The ties with Cal's dad and Cal to South Florida, talk about that a little bit.
Well, it predates me, of course, but Cal gives a lot of credit. Although he was in the minors for a short time, gives a lot of credit to the folks in Miami for having such a positive impact on him and on his family with his dad. And it's something I didn't know about, honestly, until we came down here. And you asked him, or Dan asked him. So that was new for me. But, yeah, there's no question it was a part of his life, an important part of his life. And one of the things we've talked about since that dinner was...
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Finding a way to honor Cal Sr. in Miami, because it would mean a lot to the Ripken family.
And maybe, kind of to finish this conversation, we need to have a separate dialogue with the Palm Beach County sports people, and there might be an opportunity to...
And don't forget the minor league baseball
and
people.
Minor league baseball.
I will say we do.
Here we go.
Cal Ripken baseball, although they don't occupy our spring training facilities, we host Cal Ripken baseball state championship, Florida state championship every year, and we've hosted Southeast Regional this year, and we've hosted other types of umbrellas under Cal Ripken baseball,
right,
which is a great provider for youth sports, and we've hosted the rookie stage, which is 7 and 8 year olds, and we've hosted the 10 and 12 year old. In fact, two summers ago, we were home to the Cal Ripken 10 and under World Series, the Cal Ripken baseball 10 and under World Series at Gardens Park in Palm Beach Gardens, which is one of our premier youth baseball facilities. So we're glad that Cal Ripken's had a great presence from an event side in the Palm Beaches.
That's great.
And there will be more. And ladies and gentlemen, after this is over, then there is a cocktail hour, and there will be deals made, ladies and gentlemen, just so you understand. Steve Salem, thank you very much for that. Philanthropy, doing great by doing good. Brian Cooley is the president of sports and entertainment at EverFi. He'll tell you, but it's an education technology company focused on arming students with critical skills and learning opportunities. The numbers are prolific. 220,000 K through 12 students on behalf of 800 plus private sector partners, including all the stick and ball, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, 80 pro sports teams, numerous athletes and coaches. And the company has grown from, a number still might be wrong, but from 40 employees to over 500. You were, we won't hold this against you, a Georgetown University, a passionate Hoya fan. How are they doing in the they're not in the tournament.
Is it still basketball season?
It's not. Oh, I'm sorry. And you don't have
I'm on to baseball already.
And football. Oh, you don't have a football team. Well, that's okay. Brian Cooley, sorry. EverFi, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Rick, for that incredibly warm introduction, and thank you for bringing up my alma mater. We've not been where we need to be, but we're on our way back with Patrick Ewing, I hope.
Well, and you will be, and clearly that's important, but what you do with EverFi even more important. So give us the elevator speech about the company.
So 10 years ago, we started EverFi with really a concept that there are so many critical skills that I think are missing in schools today. So students are not necessarily being armed with the skills that can help them to be successful in life. And so what I'm talking about there are things like financial capability, helping a high school graduate understand how to balance a checkbook, understanding how to save money, understanding how to invest money, how to plan for their future. And it really it goes back all the way back down to when kids are 5 and 6 years old, understanding wants versus needs and starting to develop that track record of financial capability and responsibility. We've built out a learning platform and a network that focuses on financial education as well as topics like diversity and inclusion, helping students understand many of the important lessons we've learned through the civil rights movement and other eras. Hispanic heritage is another big thing that we're focused on as well. Entrepreneurship, helping students think about STEM careers, so science, technology, engineering, and math. When you look at so many different industries, including the sports industry, there's a real focus on technology-driven careers, and many students at the current rate and pace are not ready for that. And so the idea is to really inspire them at a young age to help them build those skills. It's other topics like alcohol responsibility, or we've recently just launched a new program on opioid abuse prevention. So obviously prescription drugs and opioids in general are an amazing, incredible scourge on this country. 70 to 80,000 people overdosing on an annual basis. And it really starts with education at a young age, helping students understand how to make responsible choices, how to intervene on behalf of others. And so really that's the concept of our company, is finding ways to fill in the cracks, if you will, within public education. And so we're incredibly fortunate to work with about 20,000 schools now. And everything that we we do in terms of delivering these skills, which essentially are delivered in a video game-like environment, it's all free for K through 12 schools. And so the way that we've been able to do that is actually by partnering with the private sector. So as you mentioned, we're incredibly fortunate. We partner with about 800 different companies, and these companies are organizations that want to do good in their community. They want to not only make an impact on the young people in their community, they want to do it year after year after year. So they want to make a sustained investment and make a change. So cities like Baltimore, all over South Florida, in fact, when I think about Palm Beach County, we're involved with at least half the schools in this county and probably about 500 or 600 across the state of Florida. And so it's students at a young age learning those skills. We're also incredibly fortunate to work with just about all of the pro sports leagues. Baseball, both minor and major, are major parts of what we're thinking about in terms of how we can change the education paradigm within communities.
And so, obviously, and I use the word monetization again because that's the fuel to turn dreams into reality. The free offering to the schools rises and sets on getting corporations to understand what the value is. You personally work with IBM, Land Rover, and otherwise in your prior lives. Sure. So what's the key to get the 800 or so number of corporations involved in supporting these programs?
Right. It's a great question, and I think the idea of corporate social responsibility is not necessarily a new idea. I think companies, organizations, nonprofits have been doing it for years and years, for decades. I think what is different now is I think companies, organizations, sports leagues, sports teams, individual athletes, and their foundations are really thinking about how they can act locally and how they can actually invest in probably the best nonprofit organization there is. And I would say that's our public school system. It's not about creating an alternate world where kids are getting educated online, but actually supporting teachers, supporting students and their families in the communities that they live in. And so I think when you bring that value proposition to an organization, there's something that's very attractive about that. I think the other thing, and we're a company now, 500 people. It's really interesting. On one side, we're an incredibly sort of high-tech company. We build gaming environments that help students build their skills. But on the other side, we actually have about 200 people who live in 48 states plus Canada, and they literally walk the halls on a daily basis. And so that's really critical, is you have to have, for that last mile, you have to have somebody who's going to go train the teacher, who's going to meet with the superintendent, who's actually going to really get in there and who knows the circumstances within that community. So the last thing I would say on that, Rick, is that measurement is key. I think everybody who's investing in education innovation wants to see that it's making a difference. And so that's something that we're really proud of, is measuring everything within our platform so we can understand the number of times a student is logged on. We can understand how much they've learned. We can actually understand their thoughts and feedback based on the topics that they've studied.
Bring it back home to the economics of baseball. Tell us about the Summer Slugger program.
Absolutely. So about a year ago, we launched a program with Major League Baseball called Summer Slugger. And so this particular course is focused on helping students in 3rd and 4th grade build skills around reading and math comprehension. And so the summer period, as we know, 8 or 9 weeks of very little activity for students during the course of the summer. Many students in rural and urban environments don't have enrichment during the summer, and unfortunately, they're losing 35-40% of the skills that they built the year before. And so you think about the compounding impact of that year after year, and it's one of the reasons why kids are not able to finish high school. One of the reasons they're not able to matriculate to college. And frankly, one of the reasons why they're not able to realize maybe the dreams that they have. And so what we're trying to do is we've actually created a very interactive baseball-themed game where students actually have activities starting in the spring in schools, going all through the summer, new activities every day that are baseball-themed. And so the idea is to help them build those skills, but also, if you think about it, it's about introducing them to the game of baseball in a really fun way. And so at the end of the day, I think that we're going to be really capable of generating a lot of new fans for baseball.
A couple of metric, and it's a measurement issue you talked about before we get to Palm Beach County. Mm-hmm. The idea of what's in it for a corporation, you led with social responsibility. It seems more and more, too, your platforms lead to specific ROI, return, ROI value. So there's an internal corporate dimension about doing good and doing great, but there's also this is going to help us at our bottom line as well.
I think so as well. So if you're in the game of baseball, minor league baseball or major league baseball, there's an incredible impact about actually having your program embedded into schools where kids are learning, where teachers are, where their parents are seeing it, and then actually activating and bringing those kids out to ballparks to actually have that experience. And so if they can go to their first minor league game, their first major league game, it's eye-opening. We all remember the first time we walked into a stadium and we're just blown away by the whole spectacle of it all. And that's where fandom starts. And I think if you can introduce it at a young age, where students actually see the relevance, similar to the world that Steve lives in, where they see baseball as a driving force, a convening force for helping them realize their dreams, I think it creates an incredibly tight bond.
Now, this is really about economics of baseball in Palm Beach County, but we're going to put an asterisk on it, and we're going to define economics for these purposes, meaning social responsibility, awareness, quality of life, etc. So give us some perspective about what teams in that spring training, minor league teams, what assets we have in Palm Beach County, and from your perspective, how it can ripple positively through the county.
Absolutely. So currently we're in about 50 schools across Palm Beach County right now, all the way to elementary, middle school, and high schools with a number of different programs. Across the southern Florida, we're working very closely with both of the clubs in Tampa Bay and also in Miami, and we've had activation with those folks. As we continue to grow that, it's all about those local communities in between. It's about extending it to minor league baseball cities as well. I think about all the things that are happening here from a tournament perspective, the excitement that is baseball in this community, and I think that we're certainly going to follow that. We see the Summer Slugger program continuing to grow. One of the other things that we want to do is get more athletes involved. A very good example, Jake Peavy, who's
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Every home repair or improvement project should start with a pro you know you can trust. That's why for over 15 years, homeowners have trusted Home Advisor.
Home Advisor is a very easy way to find a home contractor, and for me, it's the only way.
You can use Home Advisor for everything. Your house cleaning, your painting.
Electricians, plumbers, handymen. We've had nothing but fabulous every single time.
Home Advisor is a totally free service that instantly connects you with top-rated pros who have passed criminal and financial background checks.
Knowing that they have had the background checks and that they're vetted absolutely gives me a sense of security.
Plus, Home Advisor's True Cost Guide helps you get a fair price by showing you the cost of similar jobs in your area.
Home Advisor is a total solution to any type of work you would ever want to do around your house.
And best of all, it's completely free. Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
If you love fantasy but need to be a part of the action, there's a better way to play, and it's live. WinView Games is the only app that lets you make live props when the game is on TV, compete against other sports fans, talk trash, and if you're right, win cash with an immediate payout each quarter. Playing WinView is easy. During each game, props are sent straight to your phone. So what are you waiting for? Go to winviewgames.com/predict to start cashing in on your sports IQ. That's winviewgames.com/predict. WinView Games. When the game is on, it's on.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, purchase 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a Wix filter for $33.99. Plus, get a $10 O'Reilly gift card by mail and earn double O Rewards points. Improve engine performance with Valvoline Full Synthetic at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow.
Major League Baseball pitcher. He's a two-time Cy Young winner and a World Series champion. He's actually himself, through his foundation, very, very passionate about financial education. And so one of the things that he's done is actually, in all the cities that he played in throughout his career, he's actually sponsoring schools so that kids can build their financial skills. And so we do see a very strong growth opportunity in this county and also in southern Florida.
So one of the side benefits of this, I guess, is that as George and others pioneer bringing franchises and assets to Palm Beach County, there are social responsibility alignments that can be generated as well, which help everybody.
Absolutely. And I think that's really what we think about it. We are an education network, and it's about finding the companies, the leagues, the teams that want to get involved, and we provide them the opportunity to get directly involved in the education innovation business.
Brian Cooley, thank you very much, and thank EverFi. Pat Rooney Jr., an incredible golfer. His putting stroke... Oh, he is. He is. But he's a successful businessman and respected community leader in Palm Beach County. He also was a representative in the Florida House, District 85, for 6 tremendously productive years. Palm Beach Gardens, North Palm Beach, Juneau, the Acreage, West Palm Beach. Serves as director for the Autism Project of Palm Beach County, founding member for the Potentia Academy of Green Acres, director and co-chair Rooney's Golf Foundation, philanthropic but recognized as a community leader, family involved with the Steelers, the Palm Beach Kennel Club, Bachelor of Arts in Political Science in 86 at Clemson, went to Villanova School of Law, JD, in 1989. Unlike George Lindley, his team is actively involved in the tournament. And just before we even start, as we speak, Pat Rooney is giving up the last 10 minutes of Villanova, Texas Tech in the Elite Eight to be with us and has not looked at his phone since the beginning of this show. Pat, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Rick. And I've been trying to discreetly... I don't know where the cameras are, so it's always tough. But I'm confident that Villanova is going to be able to take care of business today and get on to the Final Four.
Yeah, and you probably should be, although by the time this is shown, we'll see if that's absolutely correct or not, clearly. You've been involved, obviously, grew up here or involved in the business of sports and the economics of Palm Beach County generally. Your perspective of what sports has meant to Palm Beach County generally?
Well, I think you can't even measure it. It's it's so tremendously impactful in almost every aspect of life down here. You mentioned golf a little bit, tennis, soccer, water, fishing, all the things that we have just because of the beautiful natural resources that we have here. But as George mentioned, the ability to bring teams, from all levels, all age groups, including professional teams, to come down here because, again, of what we have to offer from a sunshine perspective, but also from a tax perspective and all this other kind of stuff. It's immeasurable, really. At the track, at the dog track that my family's had since 1970, we do probably about 50 to 55% of our business in these 3 months, January, February, and March. That a lot of businesses do, most of their business for that year, and to have spring training here and to have that baseball impact here, I can't tell you how many fans come into the track. They've got their St. Louis Cardinals stuff on, or now Houston Astros stuff. It definitely provides, and this is just a small, minuscule fraction of what those fans, restaurants and things that they're doing while they're here for this month-long spring training. Sports in general, but specifically because I know we're talking about baseball, I can't quantify it really to tell you, but it's huge.
71-59. Congratulations. You're going to San Antonio, okay? All right. Everything okay now? You happy?
I'm good now. I'm good. I can concentrate.
Yeah, you can concentrate. Restaurateur, entertainment business, national perspective, again, family Steelers ownership. And it is easy to quantify economically direct visitor spending, indirect visitor spending. A lot of that glazes over with the normal fan. You have a different perspective because you served as a politician for 6 years. So you had to hear the constant bombardment about public money for facilities. So how'd you come at all that? What's your perspective on that?
Well, I mean, of course, I've got one perspective because in Pittsburgh, when we built Heinz Field, there was public money involved in that. There's money from the city of Pittsburgh, there's money from the county, and there's money from the state. I think it was a great partnership, and it worked the way it's supposed to work there. You have the Pitt Panthers that play at Heinz Field. You have high school teams that play there. You have concerts that go on there. You have it truly is a multiple-use stadium in Pittsburgh, and it benefits that city tremendously. When I was in the legislature, as time went on, the desire to do those public-private partnerships lessened severely, especially over the last few years up in Tallahassee. It was very difficult to even get the conversation started about giving public money to help. And it wasn't just sports. We had a great film industry here in Florida, and that's taken a beating because, unfortunately, Rick, or whatever adjective you want to use, you're in competition. You're in competition with everybody. You're in competition with other states. You're in competition with other countries. Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, South Carolina noticed that Florida was not giving some of the incentives that they were giving in the film industry, so they've taken it over. They're doing shows now that pretend that they're in Florida in Georgia. So you've got to be aware that whether you want to believe in the free markets and that people don't want to come here because of the natural resources and the low tax, you can believe all that, but money talks, and if someone's offering them a better deal, they're going to go somewhere else. Sports is no different. We were very fortunate in a lot of ways. You mentioned how close we were to losing the baseball presence here, and it was really close. We're fortunate enough to keep that and actually expand upon that with the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. But we lost another opportunity. The Atlanta Braves wanted to come down here too. They wanted to come to Lake Worth. And because timing is everything in life, we just did that deal with the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, and the county commission, and I understand it, didn't have the political desire to try to do that. But the Braves wanted to do it, and they wanted to do it last year. That's when they wanted to do it. I think they're going to end up going to Sarasota, which is fine. But can you imagine? We would have had 5 teams here in Palm Beach County, and I really count the Mets up in St. Lucie as part of us anyway. They're close enough. You would have had 6 teams in this region. I mean, you talk about the old days. We used to have the Dodgers up in Vero Beach, the Yankees down in Fort Lauderdale. We had all these teams around here, and again, they got different deals, so they went elsewhere. Maybe in the Dodgers case, it was just more geographic issues. But when you're so close to getting that, and it's a money issue, you got to figure out a way to come up with the money and make that happen. Because, like I said in the beginning, the impact of having 5 teams here would have just been unbelievable. Especially, you would have had Lake Worth up to Jupiter covered, and that would have pretty much covered the whole county.
And from your perspective, spring training, from a political perspective, spring training, I'm biased, and we're all kind of biased in a way, should be a political no-brainer because they're facilities that are $70, $80 million, whatever the number is, and they generate $80 million of annual economic activity if you believe the study for one ballpark alone. That's 2 in Palm Beach County. You got minor league teams as well. You got the amateur baseball with heads in beds that is very important from a tourism perspective, and the quality of life as well. And we've got a seminal time now. We have 15 in Florida, 15 in Arizona. We did a panel like this in Arizona, and their tourism director said, we play nice with everybody, but we want to steal those teams. You bet. It's like the Saturn plant, but a stick and ball deal. So talk a little bit about that from Tallahassee's perspective. You're in an arms race, right?
Absolutely. I said, you again, just to reiterate, you're constantly in competition, and you might not sort of realize it when it's going on, but there are other places, whether they're other states or other countries or other cities that want or can see what the value of having something like, a spring training, even though it's a very, finite period. It's about 5 weeks, but so much else goes on along with that. You got pitchers and catchers coming. You've got the minor league aspect of it at Roger Dean. It's a year-round impact, really. And I understand the free market argument, and why should we use taxpayer dollars to do all this stuff? I get all that. I like to think of myself as a somewhat fiscally conservative Republican, but I also, when I went to Tallahassee, the thing that I spoke at breakfast and things was that I was going to take a business perspective there too. Being in charge of 500 employees and running 2 restaurants and things like that helped give me some idea of what it takes to have a chance to be successful. And sometimes you got to spend money to make money, and that's that doesn't jibe with government all the time and philosophies. A lot of times they're like, we are going to remain pure to our conservative fiscal responsibility philosophy, and to hell with whatever the consequences are going to be. And sometimes that's what happens. Again, going back to something like the film industry, it's really non-existent down here anymore. And you've got Disney here. You've got tremendous entertainment mogul types of businesses here, and we're not exploiting that, for lack of a better term, the way we should be. We should be, Rick, creaming California right now. We should be creaming them with what we have here. Yeah, we got hurricanes, but they got earthquakes. At least with hurricanes, you get a little bit of forewarning. But it's virtually the same weather. It's the tax environment is so much better down here. The regulatory environment is so much better here. It takes a little bit of foresight to say we should, if you want it, we should have the whole Hollywood industry here in Florida. We should.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most passionate I've heard Pat Rooney in a long time. Where have you been? Why aren't you running again? Can we pass the hat? We're going to pass the hat. All right. Why
because
can't
it's
you?
6 years
We need you
up
to
there.
run
I figured
again.
out they don't know what to do about that, and I'm not going to sit around there and let them, twiddle their thumbs while Rome burns.
Here's my final question for you, and it's impacting all of us: is Roethlisberger coming back, and where the Steelers going to finish next year?
Again, Rick, it's a money decision. He's got little kids now. I'm sure the body is breaking down at age 36, but $20 million heals a lot of wounds. So yeah, he's going to be back at least for another couple of years.
Pat Rooney, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. We need you to run again, but thank you very much for your comments. Let's just a final word from everybody, and we'll save the last word, George, for you. But start over here, Steve. What's your overall perspective of all of this?
Well, for me, as someone who's my starting point is different than these guys. Trying to change the trajectory of the lives of these at-risk kids and at-risk communities. Sports can have such an incredible impact on that if it's used correctly and if it's used to help provide opportunities. And I hope that's what we're doing. And with help of guys like this, the future should be great.
Mr. President?
Well, I think a couple of takeaways for me is one, that there's a great deal of validation for me in the last 45 minutes or so to summarize that, the need for corporate America and minor league baseball to look at the triple bottom line, which is a phrase now, not only economic, but ecologically and community and philanthropic. We've tried to aspire to that. Now that we have our business model in place, we can take care of the economic and focus on the other two. But to hear Pat, talk about the struggles of government, I'm very much in his camp that you have to make money to spend money. I believe in the quality of life. I believe in all that. But also the fact that, for our elected officials, it takes great vision and even more courage to step out, as Pat suggested they should. And I'm a firm believer in that as another fiscally conservative Republican. But I think that the communities that do it are proof positive that it works. And we're
going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
What we have learned is the communities that don't and later try to re-enter pay a much greater price for re-entry than they would have in the first time around.
Professor Cooley?
I think about an opportunity we had to meet Joe Torre recently, and he said baseball's a game of life. And it's really interesting. I mean, when you think about sports writ large and really about baseball, it's about practice, it's about fundamentals, it's about building skills that help you to be a leader, somebody who can communicate better, somebody who has loyalty, somebody who understands the value of being on a team. And there's so much to learn from that. And I think a couple things that are interesting, when you think about a changing demographic, when you think about millennial audiences or Gen Z, in many cases for folks like us, a really hard group to really figure out. One of the things is that they are consuming sports and entertainment in many non-traditional ways. And so one of the best ways I think that we can resonate with that community is really thinking about how we enrich the communities around them and how we really support them. And so no better way than to be in schools and to really support who they're becoming while helping to steward them as fans of the game.
Hate to do this, but we're going to do it again. A fired up, energized Pat Rooney one more time.
Listen, I didn't even mention the PGA of America going to Texas. That's another one that just irks me. But I don't want to sound too over the top negative, Rick. There's a lot of good things in Palm Beach County. I think the future is incredibly bright for this county. I think it's only going to get better. Yeah, I mean, we're going to lose some deals that we probably should have had, but there'll be other ones down the road. And hopefully the timing will be better so that when government needs to get involved, if the political wills to do that, they'll do what they need to do and help guys like George do the job that he's getting paid to do. But I think absolutely there's really no better place, I don't think, than than Florida. And this part of Florida, if you're in the sports business, you can't do any better than this.
Last word, Palm Beach County Sports Commission, George Lindley.
Well, thanks to everybody. Thank you, Rick. I think this was an excellent discussion and really demonstrates the power of sports. I'll conclude by going back to the business side, the economic side of sports, and what it means to communities. And I'll start with Palm Beach County.
It is all part of a larger whole. South Florida will be the beneficiary of all this. Rick Horrow, thank you very much. See you next time.